Well, in case you forgot or in case you missed it earlier today, we actually did have an overnight export sale to talk about. It was a sale of soybeans, 110,000 tons that were sold to China. So they were back in there at least for, a couple of boatloads. Now, we also had ethanol production numbers that came in, and kind of a good news, bad news scenario. The production ramped up last week by 30,000 barrels per day to 1.041 million barrels per day. The 4-week average inched up about 2,000 barrels a day, stands at 1.036 million. The fly in the ointment would be the ethanol stocks. They increased by 1.5 million barrels. Yikes, up to 22.8 million barrels, and no imports last week. Well, let's look at what the trade is doing now in a very quiet trading day. Let's go to the corn board and our quotes from bar chart. December corn only a half cent higher at 6.57 1/4. Let's check out what's going on in the soybean complex here. Soybean meal is up $1.70. Soybeans, we have January 5 lower though at 14.24 3/4. In the soybean oil market, we're down just 3 points on December at 73.81. Let's take a look at the wheat market in Chicago. December now down 8 3/4 at 7.82 3/4. Not that far from the low of the day. Kansas City wheat, we have December down 10 1/4. We're at 9.15 1/4. And in Minneapolis, we have December 2 1/4 higher at 9.48 1/4. But all the other months are lower. And in fact, July is down 3 1/4 cents right now. Cotton market, well, here you have December down 82. But all the other months are actually a little bit higher. Checking the crude oil trade, that was over $2 lower this morning. Now it's down $3.96 at 76.99 per barrel. Wow, look out below on the crude oil trade. Let's bring in Todd Bubba Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com and find out what this is all about. Wow, they're pulling the rug out from under the crude oil trade today. What's the story behind that anyway?
Well, first of all, Mom, happy Thanksgiving to you and the RFD family and everybody out there. But, listen, it's a dead market. There's nothing going on. It's easy to push prices around when there's no action and there's no traders involved. And you're seeing extremely light volume across the board. Crude oil, every market that is open is trading at probably half volume. Okay, it's almost like overnight kind of volume. So it's easy to force markets in a direction when you have no volume, no players against you. And that's what I think we're seeing. And I think you're coming to some critical levels, and I expect to see some bounces in wheat, probably $8, soybeans $14.10, and corn about $6.50. So I think those will be the lows if we do get to that point. But right now, it just appears that the funds are sitting on top of these. Okay, like the big bully back when you were a kid. And I think that they're trying to actually buy them because I think we're going to have a big boom commodity market in 2023. So
do you think it's actually going to wait that long before it does take off?
I could take off. The market's never announced their intentions, but obviously there's a battle for funds right now, and as long as equities keep going higher, it's hard to find some new money to come into the grain markets and some of the other commodities. But I think that's about to change as well, and I think that'll be the place to go. And certainly, listen, the rally could start Friday. It could start today, but I don't think so. I think we're going to see light volume for the next few days for sure, and then we'll reevaluate after we get to that point.
And about the only thing going on Friday would be December options expiration, right?
Correct. And if any, we've had some world catastrophes on that Friday after Thanksgiving. I think it was about 10 years ago about Qatar. Oil got killed and the markets got killed, and then they rallied them back. And there's all kinds of things. Again, Friday will be such a skeleton crew that there'll be nobody there. So they could go anywhere, and that's why I wouldn't get too committed the next 2 days because we've got nothing going on. It's hard to really gauge if there's going to be some true buying coming in or not.
That's right. I guess we do have the delayed weekly export sales numbers. They'll come out Friday morning instead of tomorrow, but we do have that. Anyway, thank you, Todd, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Good to talk with you again. Todd Bubba Horwitz at BubbaTrading.com. We'll have a look at livestock coming up after this.